just in case anyone's watching it that wants to rewatch it for any bizarre reason, or if you want to look at it if you're not seeing it live, that's all fine. The chat function's open, so if you want to put any questions in there that you've got or any queries, that's fine. What we're going to do for a start is focus mainly on the NEA and where we are right now. Sessions 2 and 3, then we'll go on to exam techniques, exam questions, but we'll look at that as we progress, and I'll kind of build up the sessions based on your needs and your wants. Okay, so please just let me know anything you've got. So I'm just going to share with you my screen, which should be that one. If I just play that. Oh, there we go. Right, so we're looking at your NEA. Your NEA, as you know, or you should know, is worth 40% of your final grade. The rest of that, the 60%, then is your exam. We want to make sure that we've got as much of that 40% as possible, though. And to do that, we're tracking it, we're monitoring your progress, we're kind of showing you regularly where you're at, what you've got to do to kind of achieve it. But we can do more than that. We can do more to kind of exemplify things, and that's kind of what I want to do tonight. And I'll give you as much kind of instruction as I can. So if I were you, I'd be there jotting things down, scribbling notes, kind of taking screenshots, that kind of thing of things we go through, things that you need to do to achieve those top grades. And we should be all kind of getting 9s, 8s, 7s for our coursework if you want to get a really good grade overall. So what do we need to produce? 6 sections of the coursework, each having different marks. And you can see there we've done sections 1 and sections 2, each worth 15 marks. And we spend a lot of time on there. If you look down, though, we'll come on to production planning later. Engineering skills is the making side of things. So even though we really want to get into the making of it, it's only worth the same amount as your drawings, only the same amount as your research. So we've got to kind of balance that out. That's why I've been saying to my groups over the last couple of days, you know, we really want to be kind of making a model of some variety, much akin to the steady hand game that we did in year 10. Okay, so we don't need to go much more than a laser cut, hopefully functioning anyway, product that's got some LEDs, got some movement, some motors, that kind of thing. It doesn't need to be massive. It doesn't need to be painted. It doesn't need to look particularly pretty. It needs to function and be well engineered. Okay, we've got time after February half term to look before we take it in finally at Easter at the paperwork side of things. So we'll be looking at planning your production. We should really do that kind of before we go into the workshop and make it, but that's not always possible. Okay, we'll also look at applying the systems technology. That's normally about probably 2 lessons to get 10 marks. And again, testing and evaluation, important and quite easy to achieve those 10 marks. Okay, so our main one at the minute is number 4, engineering skills, that we're just moving on to. We'll take your work in over the next week or so, give it a mark and let you know where you're at, and that will give us then time at the end of it to kind of catch any marks that we need to. Okay, so we ought to be trying to push towards 15 out of 15, and I've got some exemplar work to show you in a minute that will kind of show you how to get there. Oh, 2 bits done, sorry. So what's gone wrong in the past? What kind of issues have we had? So if you look at problem solving, number 1, we spend too much time on it. Lots of slides produced, lots of information, but not necessarily information to help you solve the problem. And again, it's only worth 15 marks. So people have copied and pasted massive chunks and just put that in without any thought, without any personal opinion. So if you sat there thinking, Christ, that's me, that's fine. Go back onto that sheet and just put a little coloured box, red, green, whatever, that just says your thoughts in that box. Okay, to draw my attention to it when I'm marking that, I kind of look at a table and I go, yeah, fine, that's copy and pasted. You've gone to the effort of getting some information. What are you going to use from it? What have you derived? What are you thinking? Okay, what is it showing you? What are you going to do with that information now? Okay, that will give you marks there. That will give you marks in your evaluation as well. Often section 2 has often been quite weak. Rush to do the CAD model, lack of development drawings or technical drawings. So on Onshape, the traditional thing is, here's my finished object. I've gone from a sketch straight to my Onshape final design. Well, we need to show our kind of steps in between it. And I've been showing my groups over the last few lessons how to kind of show a basic model and develop it slightly and develop it again until we get to the final design. Okay, and it's things you will have gone through drawing that final design that, you know, you need to show those stages so you can justify those marks that we're trying to give you. The technical drawings are important. They come from Onshape, and in case of clicking the button, if you don't know how to do that, we can show you how to do that, or look at tutorials on YouTube. It's really, really straightforward, but again, looks very professional if you do it right. Okay, and it does it to a set standard. That standard, British standards 8888. And the exam board are expecting you to draw to that standard. Well, Onshape does that for you. You just got to know about it, know about the orientation. And I'll do this probably in the second or third session of this when we go on to exam techniques. Okay, it's about a front view, a side view, and a top view. It's about applying the annotation, about applying the dimensioning correctly. Section 3, production planning. You've got to plan or show a plan of how to make your project for someone else that kind of isn't you, isn't one of your engineering colleagues, if you like, another person in the world that could make this. So you need to add all details such as hole sizes, drill bits that we're going to use, what size drill bit, what length of screw are you putting in, what size hole are you going to drill, how are you going to do such, what material, what tools are you using. Lots and lots and lots and lots of detail. It's not a massive document. It might be a couple of pages, might be 3 pages, but it's a table full of detail that explains stage by stage how to do it. So if you're clever, you'll do that as you go along while we're making. So today we've started designing it. We've gone on to 2D design. You could start filling out that table as we go along. Okay, so it kind of refreshes your mind, okay, how we've done it. Engineering skills, this is often rushed, making the product low quality or no prototypes made at all, which is certainly not what we want. I've spoken today and last couple of lessons about the need to get a basic kind of prototype done that is well thought about and well finished. Okay, it doesn't need to be extravagant. It doesn't need to be kind of all singing or dancing, made out of plastic, etc. Laser cut shows precision, attention to detail. It shows finesse because you can get things to fit really well and finish them well. And it gives you an easy way, a quick way of making your product relatively straightforwardly. Okay, so we've got to bear in mind 15 marks, it's not massive, but there's 15 marks there to get. Now we're doing some quite complex electronics, which involves programming. That will enable you to get some good marks. You do some laser cutting, again, it's a professional, it's a highly accurate, suitable manufacturing method. Okay, so it will get you good marks. Systems technology, again, low marks, 10 marks, but that's easy 10 marks to get. And basically, people do miss simple marks. So we'll show you exactly how to get those marks. And if you can follow that through, which you will be able to by the time we do that, then you'll get those 10, 8, 9 marks area, okay, which is what we want. The higher, obviously, the more we can get out of 10, the better, which we're not missing easy marks. That then takes pressure off our exam when we come on to do that. Testing and evaluation, we don't want to rush it right at the end, leaving it as an afterthought. Testing should be happening throughout the process, throughout the production of your product. So something goes wrong, we need to write about it. Something goes wrong in your drawings, write about it and explain what's happened. And that's the key to the success of the evaluation. It's not just a final product at the end that's just quickly evaluated. We need to be considering that all the way through. Okay. So what have we got at the minute? We gave you these 22 slides. At the bottom, it shows you matching the colour, the blue, for example, the first section, 15 marks, what you should have done, or roughly what you should have done. This is just a guide. And looking at this, we should have done the first 2 lines of this all the way through to the CAD model. Okay, we haven't really done orthographic drawings. We haven't done a circuit diagram or flow chart. which we can do as we go along, as we develop that electronics over the next 6 weeks. Okay, remember, we're building up to that deadline of February half term, which is what, about the 18th, 19th of February. After that, we'll do the bottom line. Photo diary, how we make your product. So as we are making over the next few weeks, please just be taking photos, either with a camera that we can lend you or on your phone if your teacher allows it. And you can see literally how much we need for each of the next sections, and they are short, they're quite kind of succinct. 1 sheet, maybe 2 sheets tops for the plan and manufacture. Circuit diagram, flowchart, 1 sheet. Orthographic drawing, 1 sheet, maybe showing 2 or 3 drawings. Photos of your prototype, photos of a diary of how you've made it, what have you done, etc. And I can show you, we've got templates for that kind of thing. We'll do a systems diagram. Again, that's a bit like a flow chart, but talking us through the system that's happening, and then explain your flow chart. And then at the very end, 10 marks on evaluation, well thought out, well considered, with some serious points, some evidence and things like that. Okay, so we ought to be down onto the 3rd line at the minute. We'll take in the first 2 sections and mark them, and then we can highlight any issues, any areas or concerns that we've got. Okay, so there we go, all those done. We look at section 1 then, the mark scheme. To get top marks, we don't look any further than this, any lower down. Basically, lower down, it'll be 6 to 10 marks. The problem has been analysed reasonably, and it goes down to you've basically written nothing type thing. So 11 to 15 marks is where we should be. Okay, so have we analysed things? Have we looked at things? Have we done all the research we need and ask you to do? Have you done bits of card modelling? Have you done graphical modelling? Have you done Onshape, that kind of thing? Okay, if you're ticking all these boxes, and if you've justified it and you've talked about things and explained it well, then you could be up to the 15 marks. And I think from my point of view, what I need you to think about and to kind of consider, remember, is we're not trying to lose you any marks. We're trying to justify where your marks are. Okay, so if we ask you to write an extra little bit or put as an evaluative comment in, then do it, because all we're trying to do is just tick you off on, make sure we can put you into that band, that box, if you like. Fully functioning, high quality prototype of the solution's been produced. Okay, now that could be your final your product. It's a bit of a weird mark scheme really when we're talking about the first box, talking about a prototype, but that's fine. We can kind of mark around that. Okay, and we kind of give it a holistic marking. Okay, so the first mark band is all about making sure we've got that detail, the description of the problem. We've considered everything. Have we justified things? Have we got your thoughts going in there? Modelling, have you demonstrated a range of techniques, including 3D, graphical, mathematical modelling? Mathematical, difficult one to get in there. 3D, graphical, that kind of thing is what we need to do. Let's go on to the second one. So this is an example then of possibly the best project I've seen in a long time. This student did an extensive amount of work and would get more than 15 out of 15 if that was possible. Okay, so you should aim towards this, but realise that, you know, we don't quite need all this detail. So our mind map, this is 4 sheets in one. Mind map in the top left hand corner has got lots of detail, well considered, with some thoughts gone in there. Done, tick it off. Okay, main ways to travel around the city to reduce congestion. So we're looking at things there to stop cars coming into cities. Okay, so he's analysed, or this student's analysed the issue going on here, the positives and negatives of all the different types of transport. In the bottom right hand corner next to the London bus, you've got a bit about evaluation there, talking about what he's found from doing that page. Okay, and that's the bit I really like. That's going to take him into that top mark box. Analysing the problems, the context and the brief. So we've got the brief, what is he going to do, what's all about, where's he going with it, planning what he's going to do, my next step in this project. And then this slide helped me to surmise, so he's talking about his evaluative comments again. And if you look at that, you can tell that's his evaluation because he's put a box around it. Really straightforward, but already I know that that's what's going to happen on each slide. If it was me, to make it slightly better, I put a little colour behind it, not to kind of really detract, but just to kind of say, yes, this is my evaluative comments. Okay, then he's got his client profile. He's taken it seriously. He's written about his client, okay, who's quite possibly not anyone that he knows. He's talking about some guy. Let's just have a look. Works in Canary Wharf in London. So he's done a bit of research about Mark Tucker that works at HSBC. He's asked a few questions, which he's probably made up the answers to. Okay, but he's kind of coming up with some